This is the plaintiff, Samia Ali. She says the defendant borrowed her car to go to the store with her auntie, and sure enough, they were rear-ended as they were leaving a parking lot. Luckily, no one was hurt, but when she asked the defendant about payments for damages, he became disrespectful and hostile towards her. The defendant has since ignored her calls for repair money. She has no other choice but to sue for the $244.96 she's owed. So that's just what she's doing today. This is the defendant, Charles DeSoma. He says he knows the plaintiff because he's dating her aunt, and when he was rear-ended at a complete stop, the plaintiff told him not to call the cops because she was afraid of her insurance company. The other driver agreed to pay for the damages. He's a good, honorable guy who did nothing wrong. Wasn't negligent in any way. Doesn't owe the plaintiff all this money either. He's accused of failing to take any responsibility.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket. The plaintiff says the defendant borrowed her car and got rear-ended, but he says he wasn't negligent, so she needs to go after the other driver. It's the case of rear-ender offender.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, Samia Ali?
Yes.
You are suing Charles DeSoma, the man who is dating your aunt, is that right? For $244.96 in damages to your car. What happened?
Yeah. On Mother's Day, he asked to borrow my vehicle.
How come?
Because my vehicle was blocking his vehicle, so it was a little bit more easier. So he asked me if I trusted him. Yeah.
Someone's lazy. All right.
He asked me if I trusted him to do so. So I said, okay, as long as, nothing happens to the vehicle. Him and my aunt then leave.
I'm sure those words didn't come out, but they are implicit. Yes. Okay, go ahead.
Him and my aunt then leave. They're gone for about 40 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. I'm currently at his house. I call them to see where they are. They tell me that they've gotten into an accident. They were rear-ended. So, my first question was, are you guys okay? After that, they told me they were okay. I then asked how bad is the damage on the vehicle. If they took the other party's information, car insurance information.
By the time you talk to them, it's all over and the parties have separated, or are they there?
No, they were still there.
Okay.
So he tells me he took a copy of her license and the insurance information, but they did not want to make a police report and they did not want to go through the insurance.
Who's they?
DeSoma and the other party. They decided to do it privately, that the other party would pay $400 to fix the damages on my vehicle.
Okay.
So after, I tell him to still make the report.
How does anybody decide how much the damages are at the spot like that?
So he tells me he didn't want to make the report. So he takes a picture of the license and the insurance card, which I have it. And the party leaves. I asked him, did you call a cop? My aunt then tells me she's waiting for a cop to come. A person in an unmarked vehicle came, flashed a little badge, and said, you're not going to get the $400 because you smell like alcohol. So,
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I know.
Wait, that's what your aunt told you?
That's what they...
Are you the aunt?
Yes.
Okay, what is she talking about?
I have no idea because I never said that.
I have text messages.
I never said anything like that.
Okay.
Anyways.
I didn't even talk to the cops. I didn't even talk to anybody.
Were you in the car?
Yes, I was on the passenger side. And we were rear-ended.
What happened?
Your Honor, I took Miss Reese to the store. I stopped for pedestrians in the parking lot, okay? This young lady came. As I stopped for them, she hit me in the rear. Certainly, the procedure is to call the police. Her aunt called the police. The other party was there. Then the father-in-law came. When we called her up to tell her what had happened, she didn't want to go through the insurance.
Why?
Apparently, her insurance was going to be, how would you say?
Lapsed?
Lapse 12/01 the following day, which she probably didn't know. And
wait, if she didn't know, why didn't she want to call the insurance? I'm asking you, what was her reasoning for not going through insurance?
I don't know, Your Honor. Uninsured driver, which there was no coverage.
I'm sorry, but was it going to lapse the next day, or was she uninsured? What are you saying? And besides, it wouldn't be her insurance anyway. It would be the other person's insurance.
Correct. So I was told to settle it, to try to settle it between the two drivers.
Who were you told that by?
By her.
So she asked you to try to settle it there between people, and then?
And then the police came.
Uh-huh.
There was no injuries, so both parties, which I conferred with her first, both of us she agreed to settle with the other driver. And then throughout all the confusion, the other drivers left. And this guy comes
Wait,
up.
what confusion? There's no confusion. There's everybody's standing right there.
Well, the confusion with her on the phone, there was hysterics. I mean, I couldn't make a decision to accept money,
Okay.
but it wasn't my vehicle, so I went by what the owner told me.
What did she tell you about money? To accept what?
To see if I could settle it.
For how much?
Well, the guy said he offered $400. He was going to offer $400, but then in the interim of the confusion.
Wait, you keep saying the interim of the confusion, but that's a conclusion on your part. I want to know how it exactly happened that we went from here, we'll settle it right here, I'll give you $400, to they fled. That's what I'm trying to figure out. What happened?
Well, then, I don't know. There was another guy came over to me and said that I smelled like I had liquor on my breath.
Oh, so I guess you do know what she's talking about.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, she says, I don't know what she's talking about. That was never said, but it was said. Okay, so tell me about that.
Well, this person came up to me and said, she flashed me a badge, which I'm trying to find out anyway who this person was because he impersonated an officer, and then everybody just left. And the guy and the person.
And that person said to you, your breath smells like alcohol?
Yes, and I said, well, let's call the police again, and I'll take a sobriety test.
And did you?
And actually, I had no.
Okay.
I was never convicted of a DWI, and I haven't had an accident in almost 30 years.
No, I was asking, did you call the police then? When you said, well, this is ridiculous, this doesn't look like a real police officer, this is bogus, let me... No?
Well, everybody had gone. I mean, I didn't have any evidence.
All right, so now they come home, and
No, they
do you
didn't
have a
come
picture
home.
of the...
Yeah, they didn't come home. I went to the scene. They were both still there. The other driver left. So I proceeded to call 911 because he was still there. And in order for me to make a police report, he was supposed to file. So he got very upset and he left. So it was left with just me and my aunt. My aunt waited with me 20 minutes.
Well, had there been drinking?
And not in the house, but when they took my car, I don't know what they had been doing because I wasn't with them.
Okay.
I was currently in his house.
There was some big party for Mother's Day and everybody was drinking.
Yeah, my aunt was cooking for I'm pregnant. It's my pre-Mother's Day, so it was cooking.
Okay.
So I don't know what they have done when I wasn't there.
Okay.
So then I get there. I tell them, let me call the cop. He then proceeds to leave.
Why did he leave?
He didn't want me to involve the police, and I have text messages.
But did he say why he didn't want you to?
He said he'll pay for it out of pocket. He doesn't want to involve them. He wouldn't tell me why. So I text him, I'll just go through my insurance.
Okay, so when she gets there, why is it you don't want to involve the police then?
The police had already come, Your Honor. They came and they left.
No, you told me that was somebody impersonating a police officer.
No, the police were there.
Oh, so did they do a police report?
So if I was intoxicated, they would have smelled it on me.
Okay, can we talk about the damage to the car? If the police were there, did they do a police report?
No.
How come?
I don't know.
What'd they do when they got there?
They just asked us, was there any injuries? No. Both parties, you're going to...
they asked if you guys were going to settle, and that's
right.
why they left. All right, so you
Correct.
called the police back out, and what happened?
By the time the police got there, he already had left, so I couldn't make a report. But they did tell me I could take him to small claims court to go to the precinct, fill out another form.
Okay, out of curiosity, did you ever contact the person who actually hit
I went there. I called the
To the
number.
ad, right.
I called the number that he had given me. It was a bogus number. I went to the address. They were evicted from that apartment 2.5 weeks prior. So there's no way for me to contact the people. I've asked him, and then, later on that night, my aunt then told me to come with her back to her house because they don't live together. So I went to her house. I slept over her house. That night, she was up the whole night until the next morning. I asked her, please call your boyfriend and tell him to get the car done. I don't want to have this stress on me. It's not good for my baby. So she goes,
Can I see a picture of the car?
Yes.
Who's the person with you?
This is my witness. She was on the phone when I went there to his house the next day, so she heard the conversation.
Well, you taped it, didn't you? This is it. This is what we're talking about.
Yeah, the whole. Every time I went on a bump or over a bump, the whole bumper end would fall off.
Well, when you say fall off, what do you mean? Has it fallen off?
Well, I got it fixed now. I paid for it to get fixed.
No, when you say every time it would fall off, it can only fall off once. So I don't think you mean fall off.
No, not literally fall off.
All right. So either way, it doesn't matter. Let's talk about. You taped a couple of conversations that you had.
Because my aunt told Mr. DeSomer that she gave me $40
Did you tell him that you had given her $40?
Yes.
Had you?
No.
Why'd you tell him that?
He had given me the $40, and
What'd you
I
do?
just said
Take
that.
it? You stole the $40?
Well, no, I explained it to him.
What? No, I want you to explain it to me.
No, he wasn't giving it to her. He gave it to me, the $40. He didn't know he wasn't
I'm
supposed
sorry.
to go to her.
Listen very carefully to what I'm saying, because I'm not going to get confused, and you're just going to have to answer.
So he gets rear-ended. Not his fault. Is he responsible to pay her for the damage?
No,
Why?
because she took a risk by allowing him to have her car.
You could look at it that way. What do you say?
It's the driver that hit her and hit him in fault.
Suppose you can't find that driver. What do you do?
No, he's responsible.
Because?
He's an agent. He used her car. Somebody crashes into him. He's got an obligation to her. She's the owner. That's the way it goes.
Okay, going inside the courtroom.
You told him that you gave her the $40.
But I didn't.
I know you didn't.
Right.
Why did you tell him that you had given her the $40?
I lied.
You lied.
Yeah.
Because you pocketed $40.
Because I originally told him it was for me. I didn't tell him it was for her.
I have text messages of that too.
When I asked you for the money, who did I say it was for? I asked it for me.
Yes.
Can I just ask you guys? We're talking about $244. People who were getting together for Mother's Day, so clearly you have some relationship. You have a relationship with your aunt anymore?
Yeah, but not after this, no.
And have you always had a good relationship?
We've
with her?
had, but it was on and off because she's kind of funny when she wants to be.
So let's talk about the videos. Actually, let's hear the video.
I want you to fix my car. You got into an accident with my car.
I mean, just stop, please.
I'm not arguing with you.
All right, just
I don't understand how anyone can be upset.
Okay, just don't say nothing.
I don't understand how, I'm talking to you though. I don't understand how anyone can be upset that they have to fix the damages on my car that they did.
I didn't do it.
You got into a car accident. You told me you were
Listen,
going to pay.
get the f- out of my house, okay?
I need the
Get out. Get
I
out.
need the money.
Get out. Get her out, please. Get her out.
He's
How
gonna
is he
pay for
arguing with a
it.
pregnant
Get
female
out.
right now?
He's gonna pay for it, man.
How is he arguing with a pregnant woman right now?
Mommy, he's gonna
do you want, a
pay
Purple
for it.
Heart?
He told me yesterday he would have it done for today. I came here very
Get her out of my house.
respectful.
Okay. I have a couple things to say. First of all, if I hear you say one more time you're a pregnant female, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay?
I'm sorry.
Okay? Seriously, anybody can get pregnant. Okay? So, secondly, you are a pregnant female. So you shouldn't go through, and a lot of this is self-imposed. It's not like you couldn't drive your car.
Right.
You could have waited a little more patiently. But
You're right.
I really don't get. I just don't get, I don't get you.
Okay.
Apparently you think that because the accident wasn't your fault, which everyone here agrees it wasn't your fault, you got rear-ended, that means you have zero responsibility. It doesn't. When you borrow someone's car, the contract that you make with them is that you're going to return it the way you got it, which means untouched, unscathed, and unblemished. So the law requires you to go chase that person who gave a false address and a bogus number. It doesn't require her to do it. You've got to pay for the car, even if you hadn't offered to pay for the car. But then repeatedly, I hear you on tape saying, I'm going to pay for it. Now, I just don't understand how you, as the aunt, see this stuff going. Not only do you not help to calm down the situation, but you take $40 from him, and then you tell him I gave it to her. Because that's why he's saying your aunt gave you $40. But you actually pocket it. So you're actually making the situation worse. What's your deal?
But then I told him the truth. I did tell him
I
the truth.
understand, but you're like a thief,
I told him the
a
truth,
liar, and then you were like making the situation with your own niece worse. Like, when is someone going to be an adult? Over $244? Yes, legally speaking, you have to pay it. You can go chase that person you had the accident with. $244.96. That's my verdict.
Thank you.
We gotta wait for them.
So the plaintiff is going to get the $244. Whether you like it or not, she's going to get it.
I'm glad it's over.
You know,
I don't-
I was watching you. You must have been really embarrassed listening to all that, the trial, were you?
Yes.
It didn't make you look very good.
No, but they're embarrassing people anyway. I'm just glad it's over with. You know, and thank God I don't have to have anything to do with them for the rest of my life.
I bet they feel the same way.
Sure.
I bet they do. All right. How did you feel listening to all of that going on?
It's horrible that, he lied about a lot of things in there, and for my aunt to choose sides and instead of just paying for it.
Painful, huh? I understand.
Tell you.
Well, you're going to get the money after
Yep.
all, okay?
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, in the law, when he borrows a car and doesn't pay anything for it, it's called a gratuitous bailment, which means he has to use great care to protect her car. And the reality is, if the car gets damaged, he is responsible.